Shopping for skincare is frustrating. Buy it, try it, toss it, repeat. Curology is here to help. Curology pairs with your own licensed dermatology provider who assesses your skin and prescribes you a custom formula to tackle acne, dark spots, or even fine lines. No guesswork, just a formula made to work for you. Get your consultation today at Curology.com/SXM. Curology, skincare with a face. Subject to consultation, subscription required. Cancel anytime.
Meet the next generation of podcast stars with SiriusXM's Listen Next program, presented by State Farm. As part of their mission to help voices be heard, State Farm teamed up with SiriusXM to uplift diverse and emerging creators. Tune in to Stars and Stars with Issa, as host Issa Nakazawa dives into birth charts of her celeb guests. This is just the start of a new wave of podcasting. Visit statefarm.com to find out how we can help prepare for your future. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Today is the day you will lose fat. Come see Dr. T at NJ Diet.
Easiest diet I've ever done. It's changed my life. Come see Dr. T.
Using blood work and DNA testing. 1-855-5-NJ-DIET and NJDiet.com. Change your life in only 40 days with NJ Diet.
These next two artists are legends and really don't need an introduction, so I'll just go to saying it. Grandmaster Caz and Grandmaster Melle Mel. Welcome to the library with Tim Einenkel.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
So
Whoa.
Like I said, I don't want to ask the same questions, but I do want to ask, when you first, I know you probably have answered this, but when you first got interested in hip-hop culture, or like experienced it, what was becoming a hip-hop culture, what purpose did you want to get out of it?
Just to have a good time, meet girls, because it was like the party scene. So, you go to the party, dance, and, meet girls. It was, just nothing real important, just having a good time.
For me, it was a matter of stature. You know what I mean? It was a identifier. It's what you do. What are you? What do you do? What are you good at? Like, what do you bring to the table? And it was all that for me. You know what I mean? It became kind of like there's a inside me and there's an outside me, and I needed that outside me because the inside me is a little more laid back and reserved and even a little shy. You know what I mean? So I needed hip hop to be that, that boisterous character, that one that, is not afraid to speak to people or speak in front of people or anything like that. So that's what I got out of it. I got out of, like a suit of armor somewhat.
I know you guys known each other for a long time, but for you, Caz, when was the first time you heard Mel spit a rhyme, and kind of what was your immediate reaction? Then Mel, same question. When was the first time you heard Caz spit a rhyme? What was that immediate reaction?
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the first exact time that I heard, but when I heard it, it just stood for something. Like for me, it was like, now that's what this is. Now that it was a definitive for me when I heard his voice. I'm like, now that's how you're supposed to sound. That's how an MC is supposed to sound. And he became kind of like a blueprint for me. You know what I mean? Back in the days, him personally and the group became like my blueprint for like, that's how this shit is supposed to be done. You know what I mean? You do it like that and better. You know what I mean? If you can. But, when I heard his voice and what he said and how he said it, I was like, nah, that's that dude. That's who I gotta be better than or as good as.
No, same question.
Well, we was kind of cocky, so when I first heard it, I was like, man, fuck these niggas.
Right.
Fuck the fuck this? Who the fuck?
I mean, these guys, you could say these guys had stripes before.
Yeah, because we was crazy. I mean? Our street cred was up. Like, we was a little more established. You know what I mean? Like he was a DJ, and they was doing their thing. Like a little after, but I think was more established. So it was like the fuck is
Nah, but I grew on him.
See.
Well, yeah. When did that happen? When did you realize? All right.
I mean, like a lot of years later, like the first one from his girl, the first out of any group that because back then we didn't really socialize with each other. It was like an unwritten rule. Nobody really socialized with each other. We had our own thing that we was doing. But me and JDL got cool, and we used to have to sneak off, like Caz couldn't see JDL talking with me, or my crew couldn't see me talking with JDL, so we sneak off and drink and get high, you know what I mean? But years later, just being around Caz, and then as he, just as he started, just noticing a guy rapping, and then the skills he had, and then that was the bond, because like if you put everybody in a room, and everybody had good skills, but me and Caz would be the last one standing. Like we could just rhyme. That was when my memory was good. Right now, I remember 2 rhymes and 1 phone number.
I think when you talk to people, you read interviews about and artists like Harris One, Big Daddy Kane, and they talk about you two a lot, and they talk about how like you are the architect of them. Their rhyming skills, their rhyming patterns, content as well. You obviously were the first ones to do it. Or you were the architect. What were you listening to that made you say, I want to be different and rhyme this way? I want to have lyricism. I want to tell a story.
Well, basically, my first, the first inspiration was Herc, and not necessarily only Herc, because like a lot of times, the whole narrative that we told from the beginning is like DJ Kool Herc was the first inspiration, but actually he had a crew. That was the part that we never really told. It was Kool Herc, Clark Kent, and Timmy Tim. And Timmy Tim was he was the one that I really liked from Herc's crew. He, had a smooth voice, and that was my original inspiration. Like as far as and then just having just a rap skill, that was just an evolution of just something, me trying to rhyme, and then me trying to rhyme about rhyming, and then me trying to rhyme about something else other than rhyming, and it just evolved on its own. But my original inspiration was actually the guy Timmy Tim from Herc's crew.
Another game changer you talk about is obviously. People talk about Rakim being a game changer as well. I think DMC said during an interview that they heard him and they all wanted to retire after that. What was your guys' first impressions when you heard Rakim?
When I first heard Rakim, I was utterly impressed that he was so laid back and so melodic, and he sounded like a jazz voice over a hip hop track. As the records became more, you know what I mean? I'm like, recognize this guy. It's like I got a kinship. Like, here's one of us. He's one of us, man. You know what I mean? Finally, somebody came along that added something to the game that's on par. So I was very impressed. And also the fact that was at a time when pretty much the first generation's hip-hop was pretty much over with. You know what I mean? There were no more groups, like no Furious Fives, Go Crush Fours, and this and that, all the, routines and stuff all were gone, and people were all trying to make records and stuff by then. So that showmanship and that era of hip-hop was gone by then.
Yeah, when I first heard Rakim, I mean, and even to this day, and I'm not in putting us in the conversation, because for me, I sit us to the side, and then it's everybody else. So the second tier, the third tier guys. Rakim is really the only truly great guy, because he's the only guy even to this day that I had to change my style of rap. Even after Eminem or whoever came out, even right now. The only guy that I had to really say, we got to go back to the drawing board and find a different way of doing it is when I heard Rakim. So it's like, and you know how everybody yell, you know, the greatest, and it's 50. You know, I don't believe if you believe it's 50 great guys, obviously you ain't one of them. But I think if you had a truly, like, not to spread, you know, greatness around frivolously, Rakim is, he's probably be the greatest. He's the one great MC, truly great, because he could have did it back then. He could still do it now. You know what I mean? Like a lot of rappers that they say is great, they wouldn't last back then. You know, somebody would slap the shit out of them. You know what I mean? But Rakim, he was a textbook rapper, making rhymes, saying rhymes about how good he could rhyme. But then the way he did it, his syncopation and his delivery is like he made everybody, like you had to step your game up.
Oh, it's interesting for me when you as rap music has grown. Obviously, it's now the most popular genre out there. You have a generation of people that their influence is rap. Like you guys grew up, your influence wasn't rap; it was a lot of other genre of music, and even Rakim as well. A lot of other genre of music. How important is other music for an artist, for especially a hip hop artist? How important is it for them to know it or be influenced by it versus just being influenced by a fellow rapper?
It's of utmost importance that you know more music than hip hop music, because hip hop music comes from other musics. That's what hip hop is about. It takes and borrows from things that already exist. So the music that we heard when we were young, the music we danced to, you know, we just cut out pieces of it and reused it again. So when you use somebody's rap song, that's the song done like 3 times over, because more than likely that song is taken from another song. There's a sample of a song that was popular back in the days. And that was really, you know, the whole thing about hip hop, man. That music, those records, those songs, that they provided the foundation for the music that we call hip hop. So if you don't have that, then you get hip hop for 4th, 5th generation. You're getting your examples from somebody's example. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it's important that you know music beyond hip hop music, because that's where hip hop music comes from.
Right. That's the history of the thing. It's like, and that's why, like with a lot of young people. And you know, like we was up in K Slate Studio the other day, and the girl, she's like 20. So, do y'all rap? And that's the dumbest, you know. It's like after a while, it's like, bitch, could you please sit the fuck down? Because it's not ancient history. Right. You see what I'm saying? So if you listen to hip hop, then and you listen, because like you said, hip hop music comes from all kind of different music. So if you listen to hip hop, then you should listen to other music, and you should know the history of the music. Not only hip hop music, but you know, just music in general. Because see, that's the thing that's the first thing that made the world smaller. You know what I mean? It is through music. You know, when somebody wants to tell the history of a people, they did it with song. So it's important to know that just for your own intellect, not only for the culture. Like if you think you're into hip hop, not only for the culture, but for your own intellect to understand, you know, what everybody's different music was and what it's about.
Speaking of K-Slay, you guys are on the new track, Hip Hop Frontline, and the term culture vulture is thrown out. I mean, not thrown out, it's rhymed. How harmful are culture vultures for hip-hop culture? And do you think if there's too many of them, or do you think they could destroy it, or is that just kind of hip-hop checks itself and wouldn't?
Hip-hop as a culture checks itself. Hip-hop as a business has no boundaries. So culture vultures can swoop in, and you can have hip-hop shampoo or something, a hip-hop fried chicken or something like that, and there's no governing board to kind of, you know what I mean, to spell that, to you know what I mean, that you have to report to see if you can use hip-hop. That's why when people ask me, yo, did you ever think that hip-hop would grow to these proportions? Wouldn't I be a dickhead if I say I did? If I said that I knew that hip-hop would be this big, but I didn't do anything about it. I didn't invest in it. I didn't start a company. I didn't trademark or patent anything. You know what I mean? I'd be a real dumbass, okay? So, no, I didn't know. I had no idea hip-hop would grow to these proportions. But since it did, and it has, yeah, there's a lot of, fodder for the vultures.
Yeah,
you know,
and they give and what's crazy, they give nothing back to the culture.
Right.
And
They take from it,
and they
but
do it blatantly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, oh yeah, I heard of you guys. It's like, what about the, you know what I'm saying?
Because you just
like none of these new guys, you very rarely see them do anything with any of the original cats, of the classic rappers. Not Rakim, not nobody. And it's like, where do you think you're going? It's not like, you know, it's not like you can respect. And there are some good guys out there, but it's not like you can respect as a whole what's going on because they ran with it, but they ain't got no legs. There's no legs. It's like, you know, and that's why they don't last. You know what I mean? It's like one guy. I forgot what record we just were listening to Panda, and I almost forgot that record was made, and that record just came out.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But that just go to show how much they just run with it. They just go from one thing to another. There's no legs to it. There's no, you know, it's no stability. It's not for the culture.
Yeah, it's like a disposable razor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Use the shit once, and you know what I mean, and throw it away. You know.
I'm talking about radio play. Obviously, as mentioned, rap genre is powerful. It's the top selling. Where are artists today? Is it easier for anyone to get played on the radio today than it was when you guys first come out? Like, what are the politics that were happening then to now?
Well, for me, this is just from what I know. Back in the days, in order to get your record played on the radio, you had to pay the DJs.
Right.
Plain and simple. Or the program directors or whoever was in charge of getting that music on the radio. That's what most record companies did when rap became part of the music industry. And especially in the early days, payola was very prevalent. So that's how you got your record played. Today, I mean, you got all these different venues and ways to get your music out. You got the internet where you don't need a record company to break a record or to put out a record. You put your own record out. Okay? You put your own advertising. You let people know this record is out. You put it on these streaming, you know what I mean, facilities they have, and you put it on your Spotify, your iTunes, and your this and that, and you got a record out. And you got a record out. And radio play, I mean, people don't even listen to the radio that much anymore. Not to hear, you know, hip hop. You don't get enough of hip hop on the radio.
Right.
Regular radio stations. So you got to go to, you know, SoundCloud and then all these other different, you know, entities that, you know, you can get music from. So the need for radio is, mainstream radio, yeah, if you could get it, of course, you know what that's going to do for you. But there's so many other avenues that people are using where they don't have to be signed to a record label to get airplay.
Yeah.
When Top Shelf dropped, you guys were on it, and obviously there was a huge push in the media, Good Morning America, and even speaking of radio play, there was a radio play for this. What was your kind of reaction to the record being dropped and also being?
I was just wondering where was we when they was, you know what I mean? Like
what happened?
Yeah, somebody called me, they on the real, and it was Michael Strahan's show. Like they did this whole thing, and they never called us. Like, you know, it's like.
I mean, I got an announcement about a party or something. I'll tell you, they having some kind of event. Right. Somewhere or something. There's a lot of different people on the flyer and stuff. And
they should have had us there. We look better than all them.
You know? So it was like, hey, cool. Whatever. It was something that we did a while ago. You know what I mean? And if something comes from it, fine. If not. So apparently there was a little buzz about it. And, hey, we ride with it and keep it moving, man. We got other shit to do.
I'm going to be all over the place with this interview, but I want to talk about the message real quick. Another record that obviously people just talk about to no end and how much of that was an influence for them. Caz, when you first heard the message, what was your reaction?
I was like, that shit sucks, yo. That shit is too slow. All right? Don't nobody want to hear that shit, man. That shit is corny. That was my first impression. And, you know, until I heard Mel, and then I was like, oh shit, that's the, you know, Child is Born rhyme from Super Rapping. But other than that, yeah, I thought it was corny.
When did you realize kind of the impact that this track would have on hip hop culture and also fellow artists?
Only after the record came out, because I mean, a lot of people already know the story of the message. That song was supposed to go for the Sugar Hill Gang because we already had a record out, and they didn't want to do it, and nobody in our group wanted to do it. But Miss Rob, she was the only one that really believed that song was going to be good, and then I knew she was going to get a lot of push behind the song. So, you know, I had to go with it, you know what I mean, because she was going to really get behind it. And it took, they did the track, and it took about 3 days to mix. Like, she put tape on the board, and she would let nobody touch the board for 3 days till she got the song mixed down. And I remember we was in the fever, and that's when Planet Rock was the hot record. It was in that same little summer, or, you know, maybe around September, whatever. But Planet Rock was on. And she there sitting by the bar with her fur coat and a big diamond ring. I'm like, this bitch is about to fuck up our career. She's sitting there, you know, diamonds, smiling. They put the record on right after Planet Rock, you know, changed the pace and everything. And people just started dancing to it, and I was like, the fuck? And it went gold like in a week. It was one of the quickest, other than Rappers Delight, but it was like the quickest selling record that they had. And after that, it was like, you know, and to this day, I mean, I heard it on Jeopardy. They had, you know, Alex Trebek, he did it on Jeopardy, and then they said Flash's name like it's. Yeah.
Dan Charn is the journalist, and he wrote in The Big Payback about the message. He said it showed that rap could be serious, too, even meaningful. Was that kind of what you were trying to accomplish with the rhyme?
Well, when I did I was just trying, when I did the Child is Born rhyme, I was just trying to do a different rhyme. You know, it's like, you know, and my whole mindset, even to this day, if you see a bunch of niggas doing something and it ain't something like the electric slide, do something else. Right. So I, you know, everybody was rhyming about rhyming, and then I wanted to rhyme. I rhymed about something else, and then that's how you know the conscious that rhyme came about, and then a lot of my other conscious stuff is just like, you know, just trying to be a little different. You know, don't do the same thing that everybody else do. Unless it's the electric slide.
Obviously, Caz, we all know the story about Big Bang Hank famously kind of taking your rhyme, and you kind of mentioned it now about how you didn't, variously so, you didn't realize how big rap would become or hip hop would become, and also so you gave him your book. So this is a very elaborate way of asking you, not to talk about the story, but what was your first experience or reaction when you actually went into the studio to record a record? And kind of, that's when it like dawned on you that, all right, this is something that's going to continue, or I'm actually doing this now?
Not really. Myself and my crew, we were reluctant to even make records because we felt like this is the end. Like, this is some other bullshit right here. And it's like Rocksteady felt being in Flashdance when they were asked to be in Flashdance. It was like, now the average kid, they come from where we come from. You ask them, they want to be in a movie. Like a movie? Like a Hollywood movie? You fucking right. But they were reluctant. They was like, nah, we don't want to be in no movie. Everybody gonna see our moves. They gonna bite our moves. Nah, we ain't down with that. And it was like, we'll give y'all $6,000 a piece. And it was like, yeah, all right. You know what I mean? So, all right.
Yeah, but he's right though. Even when I first heard Rappers Delight, and people used to say, you know, why don't y'all do a record like that? And it was like, why would we want to do a fucked up record like that?
Exactly.
Totally different, you know, totally different, different realm.
It just seems, talking to you guys, that hip hop culture, you know, you wanted to keep it close to the neighborhood, so to say. You see it now, and it's obviously around the world. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, are you? I guess is there happiness towards that happening, or would you?
for me, I'm ecstatic that this culture has reached around the world, that we have an audience around the world, that we are known around the world and somewhat revered. I mean, because in the beginning, you can say what you want, but most of us just got into this for notoriety. You know what I mean? We wanted to be famous. We wanted to be, respected. You know what I mean? We wanted to be able to walk down the street and people know our name. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, sure, when I think back, I wish I would have wished for more. I would have wanted. I didn't even really think about money so much as I thought about fame. And it's like, be careful what you wish for, because of all of these advances, changes, exploitations of the culture. I mean, it's the biggest, entity, on the planet right now, next to the internet, and it's brought the planet together on a level that nothing else could.
Right.
And it continues to provide an outlet for our youth. You know what I mean? And help put people able to put food on their plates behind something that we helped to pioneer. So yeah, I feel great about it.
I'm 75%. I'm proud of the hip hop culture, and I'm 25%. I'm disgusted because it's like all of that street all of that street shit is I ain't feeling that. You know what I mean? That's where we from. I understand that, but I don't respect people like, okay, after you made it, now you're gonna act like you're still street. You see what I'm saying? I'm still street because I live in the hood. Right. But if I made it, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, because and I got the bag. No, I'm wealthy. I live in a good house. I live around all kinds of people. I'm not doing all that, because that made certain things in the hood. It made it permanent. Right. It's like people don't want to leave, and then it kind of defined us in a way. You see what I'm saying? Like if somebody, if you tell somebody act black, and then they go, yo, yeah, man, because you see what I'm saying? And that all came through, them using hip hop as a vehicle, and them, like when it got to the point where it wasn't about entertainment no more, and now it's just about that image, and then that image they give off, it's not when it translates into society, it's not good. It's not good for. Positive. Yeah, and you're not going nowhere. I mean, if you stay in the hood, and then they feel more for street dudes than they do for other dudes. But the street dude will never go nowhere, because by definition, that's where he's going to stay. He's a street dude. But once you leave the street, you're not. I mean, you from the street, right, but you're not a street dude. So, but with that mentality, it's like it leaves a lot of people stuck. Whereas what we did, we didn't. We didn't leave. We didn't stick nobody. We gave them room to elevate.
Yeah, we didn't aspire to stay here. We aspired to make a way for you to get out. You know what I mean? And so now it's like somebody taking the work that you did and doing the opposite with it. You know what I mean? Giving off a whole nother message.
Yeah, to get good and be. We used to get good and get better, be better at it. Now it got mumble rap, and they be like, yeah, that's the new. That ain't the new fucking scatting. This nigga don't even know what he's saying. It's fucked up.
The new scat.
Yeah. And your rapping is the modern day scat. Ain't no motherfucking. You ain't gonna find no fucking scat man cruthing and Ella Fitzgerald with these motherfuckers. You can barely hear what they saying.
It's the modern day stutter.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
If anything,
like they trying to, don't cater to that shit. Listen, they good, they winning, but don't say that shit, they're not good. They're not good rappers. Right. Now maybe you don't have to be. And that could
that's
be,
obvious.
That's
you definitely don't have to be anymore.
But in my opinion, you should know how to rap. At least you should. Even if you're trying to act like you don't, but at least you should. Just in case you really got to do something one day. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, that's just me.
Well, obviously, you guys do know how to rap or rhyme, as we say. So I want to leave you with this last question for both of you. What was the first rhyme that you wrote or lyric that you kind of still say to this day? Fuck, I'm good.
So many of them. I mean, I mean, consciously, I think it was the Beat Street rhyme, but just, I mean, even right now, because like I said, my memory ain't as good as what I think. So, like, sometimes, like, I'll listen to a rhyme that I said and something to be on the tape, and I'll be like, God damn, that was dope.
Sign that guy.
You know what I mean? But I would have to be the Beat Street. Those are some of my best, my best verses. I knew, it was on another level when I did that.
I mean, me, I've been more closer to the street for longer, and so my rhymes become like these like things that like a legend somewhat, and people sing them to me like later on in life, like to this day. I was more known as more of a storyteller back in the early days. My raps more contain stories and situations and stuff. So I think it would be Yvette. This rhyme I wrote called Yvette, about getting caught in the bed with a girl and caught by her parents. And it's this scenario that I cooked up and talked about, and it's one of my most popular rhymes ever. I mean, Will Smith got Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble from Yvette. I mean, LL did a Yvette record, you know what I mean? And all that was based on that early rhyme. So, I mean, the reaction that I always got to that rhyme let me know, yeah, nigga, you got this, man. You know what I mean?
Grandmaster Caz, Grandmaster Melle Mel. Once again, an honor to have you guys in the library with Tim Einenkel on Hackensack Meridian Health, Stage 17. Thanks, guys.
You already know.
Stage 17, Hackensack Meridian, baby. Get your health up.
Stupid.
Shopping for skincare is frustrating. Buy it, try it, toss it, repeat. Curology is here to help. Curology pairs with your own licensed dermatology provider who assesses your skin and prescribes you a custom formula to tackle acne, dark spots, or even fine lines. No guesswork, just a formula made to work for you. Get your consultation today at Curology.com/SXM. Curology, skincare with a face. Subject to consultation, subscription required. Cancel anytime.
Meet the next generation of podcast stars with SiriusXM's Listen Next program, presented by State Farm. As part of their mission to help voices be heard, State Farm teamed up with SiriusXM to uplift diverse and emerging creators. Tune in to Stars and Stars with Issa, as host Issa Nakazawa dives into birth charts of her celeb guests. This is just the start of a new wave of podcasting. Visit statefarm.com to find out how we can help prepare for your future. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.